Yo, what up, everyone? Welcome back to Surface Series. I'm your host, Jordan O'Shea. This is J.sprays, and this is a show where I get to show you how sports are made. So today we're going to be heading on over to a golf course in beautiful Newport Beach, California. If you're not familiar with Newport Beach, or if you are, it's a very wealthy area. It's very nice, and it's beautiful over there. The sun's usually out, and it's usually a lot cooler there than the areas surrounding it. So Newport Beach is always nice to go to. We're going to be heading on over to Newport Beach Country Club, and we're painting a logo over at the PGA Champions Tour event. And the logo that we're painting today is for Hoag, which is a hospital and obviously in the medical industry. And what I liked about this, there were a few things I liked about it, but one thing I liked, I've never painted on a golf course before, so this was my first time, and it was fun because I've never experienced having to take breaks because people are teeing off right behind my head. So that part was cool, I guess. But it was fun. It was fun. I liked it. Another thing I liked was that I used to work in Newport Beach. I coached baseball there for many years, so just being able to go back was very cool. It was very nice, and I like doing that. And number 3, I got to paint a circle. It's not too often I get to paint circles, and they're not always the easiest thing for me just because I don't need to paint them often at all, but this one came out nice, and I know how to make it work. I know how to make a circle work, and I'll show you how I made it work today. But, I mean, in this video, we go through everything from making the stencil, making the circle, and then even using different tactics to paint the words within the circle because I painted a logo, or I painted the circle down there. I had to wait for it to dry, and it was not a dry day. I do say it was a pretty moist day out there over by the beach. So, little challenges. I mean, like I said, people teeing off behind your head, so you have to take breaks for the people that are, because don't forget, you're at a country club. There are members there, and they're playing golf. When they're playing golf, you got to move out of the way, and it's no big deal. It's no big deal, but I also get to take you to the event this time, so that's pretty cool. I do love being able to go to the events that I paint for, and that's what we did this time, so I get to show you that. I get to show you all the nice cars around and everything because it was sponsored by Aston Martin. And, I mean, everything else, just everything was beautiful over there. So, thank you for joining me on this one. And if you'd like to see more golf content, I'd love to get out on more golf courses. So, if anybody knows a golf course that needs a paint job, feel free to let me know because I'd love to go out there and paint or whatever it may be. Just because I love showing you this type of content. I have days and days and days and days worth of videos that I'm going to be stretching out every single week for you guys for as long as I possibly can. So I need more jobs. I need more jobs if I want this thing to go forever because I don't have forever's worth of jobs at the moment, but I will. I will. Paint jobs, field jobs, any type you can think of. So let's get to the video. Let's get to the paint job and everything, and I'll take you in depth what we're doing, and this will be a fun one. All right? Let's go. So here's the logo that we're going to be painting. Like I said, it's Hoag, it's the hospital. It's a very medical industry type paint job today. And here's how we did it. Now, we're over here on this little hillside right below the tee box. See the palm trees and everything. It's nice and beautiful. It really couldn't be. You can't really see too much of the Aston Martin over on the left side of the screen. But it was very cool. I've never painted next to a nice car like that. And you have people golfing at the same time, but what I'm doing right now is I'm getting the edges of the circle. The most important part of the circle, I would say, because if you're a little off, it's going to look lopsided. It's not going to look like a true circle. So I'm trying to make this as perfect as possible. So I put the tape measure in the middle where that flag is, and I put some flags out on the outside, at least 4 on the outside. That way I can make sure I'm on line as I'm going, just extra reinforcement. And all these dashes in the circle that you see, those are my starting points. I'm starting and stopping plenty of times because I don't want to overextend. I don't want to just keep going. I want to make sure that this stays perfect. And so these starting points pretty much just help me get going because it's the initial start that sometimes it splatters everywhere. Sometimes the tip gets clogged and paint might go where you don't want it to. So I'm trying to prevent that and just make it as smooth as possible, the smoothest transition I can. And it's fine because it's all going to get covered, and it's a pretty heavy coat of paint. Like this, I'm overlapping a ton, and I'm skipping parts of this just because of how much paint I'm putting down. This process took a while. you might be able to see the sun move as we keep going, because this is going down. And I'm kind of racing the sun here. As you see, we're on a hillside, and we're on the opposite end of the sun with this hill. So the sun's not really facing it anymore. So we got to hurry because we want this thing to dry. And we're painting into the dark. We absolutely are tonight. That's okay, but I want this thing to dry because I got to go walk on it and paint again. So got this whole circle down. That was the fun part. Now we got this stencil to do while we wait for the paint to dry as much as possible. And the night before, I got the stencil drawn on, and now it's just time to cut it. So the hard part, I'd say, is cutting it and figuring out how you want your stencil to look like. And this is a one-time stencil, or maybe I'll use it again next year. We'll find out. But I can kind of make it a little bigger, because in my eyes, when you are doing a stencil for multiple uses, or you want to hold on to it for a little while, the smaller the dots, the better. It just kind of helps with storage. But for this instance, I'm just using it today. So I'm going to make these holes as big as I possibly can, just to make it easier when I'm actually filling everything else in. So, I mean, it's 4 letters and a little circle on the inside as well. So it's not a crazy one, but I want to make sure I still have enough of the stencil material to be able to like put it straight in the middle. Now, like I said, the circle was probably the fun part, the most important part of making it look nice. And this might be just as important, as when you place the stencil down, you want it to be in the spot that it's supposed to be, because it's an existing logo. Hoag already has their logo. If I have the letters in the wrong spot, they're going to notice. And this is a big job for them to want their letters in the right spot. So I'm here by myself. I got to make sure I do this right. So, I mean, I'm going to eyeball it plenty of times. I'm going to walk back and see if I can get it right. But right now, I'm fighting the wind. So fighting the wind, getting the screwdrivers in and pinning it down. As you see, once I got it pinned down and everything, I have tape measure to just get the very middle of it. And that's going to help me find my middle. The center line is what helps me the most in paint jobs. Center line is very important. So that's how I made sure I got it in the right spot. And then, I measured the sides from the side of the circle. So that's just how we get everything done. Now, this paint right here, it is black, pretty much, but I think I had to gray it a little bit. So it's a very, no, this is black. This is black. And you see, I pretty much got the entire H down. I'm using a paint roller now. The paint roller is just because we already have a white circle down. I would prefer to use this paint roller. It's not a huge logo, so the roller helps kind of just keep everything in place. Like I said, it can splatter a little bit when you have a paint machine. So that's why I'm doing this. And it's my first time painting with a paint roller, I think, on grass. So it was cool. Now, this orange right here, I had to make this orange. I had red and yellow, and so I made it. I just used those 2 buckets of paint to mix them together, and boom, there it is. So that was probably the hardest part of the stencil, is just cutting out that perfect circle right there, because I had to do it as best as I possibly could, because this was a huge project. Now you see what it looks like with all these dots and everything. It's not so many dots, I guess. On the A and the G it is, and I had to do it that way just because those are easier ones to kind of fill in, and I just needed the outline. The H and the O, I was able to have it open a lot more, just because I was able to get them down without the stencil being crazy. You saw my hand. You saw my hand just covered in paint. That's what it is. That stuff doesn't come off for a little while. But yeah, now I'm getting the A down, and it's a lot of painting. You see the sun going down, and I'm really racing to it, racing to beat the sun, because I want to be able to see. I didn't really have lights out there, so I needed just enough light to see everything, and I would have made it work if I needed more time. Don't get me wrong. I would have made it work. This logo had to get down that day. I no longer am in Orange County every single day like I used to be, so the drive down there is not always easy. So that's why I had to get it done that day, and it was a pretty big tournament. We're doing it it's a PGA event, PGA Champions Tour, but it's still a PGA event. I had to make sure this thing was good. So like I said, getting this A down now, and I'm just using the paint roller. This is a fun one. And let me see. This tournament that we're painting for, at the end I get to show you some of the clips because I did get to go to it that same weekend. It was a fun one. It was a very fun tournament to be able to go to. I've never been to a golf tournament that I wasn't in, and I haven't really been in too many golf tournaments. But the winner of this one was Miguel Angel Jimenez. And if you're not familiar with the PGA Champions Tour, it's pretty much a PGA league, but for 50 and over. So if you're 50 and over, you can be in the PGA Champions Tour. If I don't know exactly how people make it into it. I'm sure they had to be on the tour when they were younger. I really don't know. I'm not 100% sure on any of that, but it was fun to be able to see professional golfers out there doing their thing because a golf tournament is much more than just watching people golf. But here's how the logo turned out. I'm happy with it. Here's people teeing off. This is the tournament. This is what it's like during the tournament. And it was a very fun one. I didn't get to see John Daly, but he was out there. John Daly would have been cool to see. But like I said, people out there teeing off. Aston Martin sponsored it, so there were just cars all over this place, just littered everywhere. And this was a fun one. Like I said, I love being able to go to these types of events. I love being able to paint and work on fields and everything at this type of scale. I mean, I was at a PGA Champions Tour event painting at a country club in one of the nicest cities in the country. So that was pretty special to me, and especially like I've worked in that city for quite some time. So being able to go back for my business and with Andy helping me get this job as well, this was a fun one. And I don't endorse any of these brands that you might see in this video. There's no sponsors to this video. So this is purely something that I'm doing because I want to make it. I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel. I'm trying to build this community. So everybody that's here watching, everybody that comments, everybody that gives their input, good or bad, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I was going to say I can't do it without you. I love that you're here. I could do this just for myself too. Like, I enjoyed just doing this and putting it out into the world, but I want you with me. I want you to be able to check on these videos every week, see what's this guy doing, what's this guy up to, and how is this happening? What goes on into making sports? What kind of paint is he doing? What kind of field is he renovating? What else are we doing? Because we have more in store for you, more than just grass, more than just football fields, golf, anything that I've showed you yet. There's plenty more to come. Promise me that, in some major sports, different types of sports surfaces. I'm just here to show you different sports surfaces and how sports are made. So I know I'm babbling a little bit, so I'm not going to keep this going for too long, but thank you. Again, thank you very much. This means a lot to me. And if anybody has any ideas on what they want to see, what they're curious about, just drop a comment. DM me if you want. Send me an email. Whatever you want. I just want to hear about it because I'm always looking for ideas. I want to keep the show going as long as possible. I don't know how long it's going to go. I really don't, and I'd like it to go forever. This is fun to me. This is fun. I'm here in my home right now recording this. I got to wake up early tomorrow. It's pretty late, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm choosing to do this because I want to do it. It's just me. I mean, my fiance is a huge support in everything I do. So that's pretty much what I have going on with this show. I love to grow it. I want to grow it, but if it just stays in this scale forever, I'm going to keep doing it as long as I possibly can. And if it grows, awesome. I want it to. I want this to grow, and I want to have more opportunity to show you as much as I possibly can, because my goal is to show, with Surface Series at the very least, is to show what goes into making sports happen. All right, so Sports Surfaces, Surface Series, that's the name of this show. Showing you the surface, or the surfaces in sports. That's what we're doing. So thank you guys for joining me. Like I said, I was babbling a little bit, but I was a little happy. I was a little happy being able to kind of talk to you guys about this. So feel free to reach out, comment, email, whatever it may be. And if you have a job for me, if you have something you want me to come do personally, let me know. let me know. My emails are open. My DMs are open. The comments are open. So I've said that so many times. So I'll see you guys again next week. I'll see you on Friday at Full Experience. But, yeah, thank you, everybody.